A bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
A 6-time Mr. Olympia just ended a PhD's entire argument in one sentence. But this isn't really just about training, it's about ego and what happens when your audience stops respecting you. Let's talk about Dorian Yates versus Mike Israetel and why it matters for the rest of us in the gym. Every generation thinks that they've figured it out, but not this time. This time, it's not about methods. It's about how we treat each other when we think we've outgrown everyone else. Here's the short version if you're in a rush. Dorian Yates, a 6-time Mr. Olympia, said today's evidence-based coaches like Mike Israetel focuses too much on studies and not enough about pushing your limits.
He had a few other things he said which were insane, psychotic, totally dumb, and fucking backwards wrong. So with the Mike Mentzer thing, because it's a fad, it's like, we already know what Mike Mentzer did that worked well.
Dorian Yates won Mr. Olympia 6 times. He did it in the 90s using Mike Mentzer's high-intensity training methods.
Mike fired back and saying that intensity isn't everything and that smart programming wins long-term. Both are right, but both forget how to talk to each other. You can be right on paper and still lose the room because respect isn't won by citations. It's won by humility, by curiosity, and by how you treat people. You've probably seen it too. The trainer who won't take advice or the guy who quotes studies but can't make a single rep look clean. That's the same energy. Ego builds fast in fitness because the results are visible. But the moment you start thinking your method makes you special, that's when respect starts leaking out. I've trained with both kinds of people. The grinders who never open a book and the guys who never miss a citation. The best ones, they're curious. They'll lift, they'll read, and admit when they're wrong. That's where real progress lives, between humility and obsession. Most lifters don't even train close to failure. You can see it in their faces. They look comfortable, they rack the weight, shake their arms, and call it a set. True failure isn't when you think you're done. It's when you literally can't move that weight again, even after a few seconds of rest. Okay, I feel like this is not talked enough. What is failure and how do you go to failure? So say you're doing a normal set, and here I do like calf raises, right? I'm doing a normal full range type of set, and then, you know, I say I do like 10, maybe 15, maybe more reps, and I can't do any more. I feel like stopping the machine, but instead of stopping, I cut the range of motion because I can do way more shorter ranges of motion than full range. So I bounce a little bit. Maybe I go even shorter. And I'm at a point where it's so painful that I can't do any more. And I feel like stopping it and getting off. But instead of getting off, I take a second and then I do some more. Because here, if I do some more, you know, after like a 5-second break, I can go for like 10 more reps. The calves are such a small muscle. So I'm doing this kind of like intensity, rest, pause, type of short rest. And then I just continue until I just physically can't do anymore. I'm at a point where it's so painful, I want to get off, I want to stop, and I want to put my hands here. But instead of putting my hands here, I go in a stretch position just for the extra stretch because the muscle gets so tight after so many reps. Just to let the blood flow in because we did do some short range of motion. But that's basically failure, in my opinion. But you should physically not be able to do more, even after a few seconds of stopping. Hopefully this helps. For me, a real set doesn't end when the rep count stops. If I hit 10 reps and I can't do another full one, I'll shorten the range, grind out 3 more, take a breath, then force a few extra half reps. That's how you know you find your real limit. You don't learn that from studies or spreadsheets. You learn that from pain tolerance and experience. It's not about being reckless. It's about awareness. You know when you're overdoing it, but you also know when you're playing it safe. And most people, let's not lie, are playing it safe. If you're fighting a war, you're not counting slashes. You're fighting until the job's done. Same thing with your muscles. Destroy them completely, recover, and come back stronger. But of course, you still plan your training. Deload weeks, recovery days, smart progression, but Don't let the numbers make you forget effort, because in the gym, effort is the data. When I see Dorian's approach, I get it. He lived that training, and if you see his videos, he reaches a level of training, of intensity, most people will never touch. That's the kind of focus that changes your DNA. That's the kind of focus that makes you fight through poor genetics. But you can't learn that through a PDF or a spreadsheet. You have to experience it. You have to chase failure, not fear it. And that's the problem with how fitness gets taught online today. Everything's neat, logical, calculated, but the gym isn't math. It's emotion, pain, and persistence. If you've never been there, under the weight, shaking, seeing spots, you won't understand what the real, true failure is and what it feels like. Dorian's right about that part, but at the same time, Mike isn't wrong either. You can't train like that every single session without burning out. You need structure, you need programming, you need to understand recovery and progression. So maybe the truth sits in the middle. Science gives us the map, but intensity drives the journey. Both sides make sense until ego gets involved. When you're a Mr. Olympia legend, it's easy to think nobody can teach you anything new.
Your physique's nowhere near Mike Mensa, even with all the PEDs that you're taking.
And when you've got a PhD and 1 million followers, it's easy to think you're the smartest guy in the room.
And the authority to command that authority whenever people doubted what he was saying.
You are presuming you know more than me about the thing I'm one of the top experts in the world in, and also the thing I'm literally involved in myself. So whatever ideas you have about how I can improve, just right out.
That's when respect disappears. Ego doesn't care if you've got trophies or textbooks. It just wants to be right. I respect Mike's brain. I respect Dorian's results. Both can be true. But when science turns into swagger, people tune out. Fans feel like they're being talked down to. Creators lose goodwill. That's real loss. You've seen the clips, sharp takes, hard lines, entertaining for sure, but respect is like a bank account. Every dig, every flex, every obvious remark, that's a withdrawal. Eventually, the balance hits zero. Old school says, try it and see what happens. New school says, show me the data. Winners do both. They experiment in the gym, check the research, and then talk like a real human. Not a referee and not with ego. Dorian's point on tone lands. Coaching isn't a debate club, it's communication. If your goal is progress, make people feel seen, not small. Throwing out science is dumb. We're better lifters because of it. The fix isn't to go back, it's to dial down the ego. Keep the rigor, lose the superiority. If advice makes you feel stupid, you won't lose it. Find coaches who explain first, flex later. Look for curiosity, look for empathy. Your gains will thank you. Your tone is your brand. Every reply, every short, every thumbnail, ask yourself, did I help someone today? Or did I try to win? One builds respect and the other one burns it. Mike pushes hard because he cares about truth. I get it. The internet rewards hot takes, but long-term respect beats clicks every time. Dorian versus Mike isn't about who's right. It's a mirror for all of us. Lift heavy, read the studies, be open to advice, drop the ego, keep the respect, do both, do everything. Tell me where you land. Team old school or team science or team use what works. Drop a comment with what actually moved your lips. I'm interested in what you have to say. I test this stuff in real life, so if you want honest reviews and no BS breakdowns, subscribe. We keep it respectful here and we keep getting stronger. And by the way, Dorian Yates was one of my favorite role models back in the day for training. His intensity, his face, you can see that he's driven. He's one of the most motivational bodybuilders out there. He's legendary and he still is today.